Okay, well, in order to have a website, a WordPress website, or pretty much any other kind of website, you need to have a domain. And in order to manipulate, use a domain, you have to have a web host. I've used several web hosts and have settled recently on NameHero. They've been pretty good. And so I'll step through this process of using NameHero to install a WordPress site on a domain that we own. So we'll get started with NameHero. So log in here, we'll click on My Cloud, My Services, click on the ellipse, triple dots there, and view details, and then we'll click on log in to cPanel. The cPanel has a lot of tools in it. Right now we're just concerned about the WordPress Manager by Softaculous. As you can see here, I've got many sites loaded on to my web host here. This just manages all of those sites, and you can log in directly. You can install a new one, as we'll do here, and we're going to call this one. We're going to go into the IDS Rocks domain and call this one Example. So the login will be ids.rocks/example. Call the name of the site here, and this will flow through to the site example install, and the site description is for demonstration. And I've got a standard set of plugins and themes that will load into all of my sites just to save time. I'll go into advanced options and change the name of the database and the table prefix, so that if I have to go in and look at it later on and look in the database itself to see what's going on, I can identify the databases a lot easier, because there are a ton of them, and often the automatic names are not descriptive. So click on install. I'll zoom this up a little bit, and it's done. So now we have IDS Rocks/example. To log in, you put in the WP-admin at the end of that, and it will go to that site. That new site, we'll put in the credentials that we defined earlier. And let's start poking around here. Let's look at the pages. I always add a couple of new pages immediately. The home page doesn't need anything on it right now, and a post page, because the system will ask for that. As it turns out, we really don't use the post page for much, but just the way I use it, but it asks for it. So let's go down to settings. From the left menu, we selected settings, and we'll select a few things here that will make life a little bit easier for us. Just let me take a look at what's in each of these. In particular, in the reading section, well, there's the home and the post page that are selected. I typically use a static model for my websites, but it changes for different folks that need different things. I like to change to the post name there, and then there are many options that we can change throughout the site using the menu on the left. In particular, we're going to look at appearance. So here we see all of the themes that are currently loaded. We've just activated one called Newsmatic, and but we can go in and look for other themes. There are thousands of themes, and so we look for all the themes, for instance, that have news in them or related to news. News sites are really interesting. They've got a lot of things going. They want to get your attention. So they're very graphic. A lot of times they have built-in moving headlines and things like that. So they're kind of neat. They got a lot of options. So I like to deal with news themes. But you can also drill down using feature filters. So we like accessibility ready, and I'll click on news as well and look for those. And so that's limited the options there for the themes that are available. Now let's add a new one. There's one that is super easy. It's called Simple Life. And it's relatively news related, but it's more simplistic, so it's really good for training and not too complicated to get into. So there again are your options for site identity and colors and the header, and you go through all those things. So you can click on the left menu and drill through the different options as needed. Notice that when something changed on the left, the preview changed on the right, so that makes it kind of nice. Sometimes those are accurate, sometimes they're not, to be honest though. Don't forget to publish every change that you make, otherwise it's just not going to happen in the real site. Notice we went into the menus here. I prefer using the menus in the main dashboard as opposed to the themes site or the themes menu, but you can do it here as well. So let's take a look at menus and how they work. We'll create the main menu here. We saved it, and we can tell it where it's going to pop up. I'll tell it to pop up in the primary menu. And notice on the left are the pages that we've got loaded. So we select those pages, add to the menu. They pop to the right, and you can drag and drop these pages around in any format that you want. Which one's first, second, which one's a subcategory of another one, and so that's really handy to be able to make the menu pop in a certain way that you want it to pop up, and to make things understandable. Just more example here. We'll take a look at how that looks now. We got the post and the host coming first and the home second, so you see how that operates. So let's take a look at the widgets that are available. Each of the themes have their own widgets that are available. Widgets are little utility items like a calendar or custom HTML code of some sort that you can go put in certain places, usually on sidebars. Along the side or in the footer or in the header. They'll have them laid out over here to the right on where those things go. The footer, column 2, is typically somewhere in the middle of the footer, and so you can put in any of these widgets into those particular locations. Now let's take a look at plugins. These are some basic plugins that I just load on pretty much every time. Some you need, some you don't need, and a lot of them you'll find that as you load plugins on and off, you'll find that you get your favorites. This is a favorite of mine, the Classic, and I always want to be able to allow users to switch between the block and the Classic editor. And that's just super important because the block editor is handy sometimes. Most of the time, to me, it's just in the way. But it does have some features sometimes for some pages that are really nice. And so I like to be able to switch back and forth. Okay, well, say, how do we find a new plugin to do a new job? Well, we click on Add New, and then in the search bar, type in whatever we're looking for. Let's say we're looking for a slider, which is an image manipulation device that will slide images in and out. Many of them have different capabilities. Some of them are more capable than others. Just you open it up. Notice this one says it hasn't been tested for this version. Well, it was just updated a month ago. It's probably fine. Very useful. You can go down through the description, see what the writer had in mind. Click on screenshots, see if it's what you're looking for, if it looks the way that you think that it should. Look at the reviews and so forth. Scroll down, look at another slider. Do the same thing. Kind of peruse the catalog and just see what's available, what people think of it, what the reviews are saying. I noticed that one was just updated 24 hours ago. So most of these are pretty well up to date. So super handy to be able to do that. Thousands upon thousands of plugins available. So there is the basic overview, 20,000 foot overview of how to install a WordPress site using your domain and your web host, and I use namehero.com.